2020. But I feel like the Knights, they've just got that head start. They've probably been working on this map for quite a while now, just knowing the Knights and the way they prep for things. I feel like they've got the upper hand here. But, you know, you talked about this being the home game, Knights versus Elevate. This is actually these guys playing each other in the Oceanic Nationals last stage in game number 1. And it was a brutal 7-5 close match. So I'm really hoping we get something similar here.
Well, honestly, I mean, I don't know how much we can really take away from the one-off tournament at Rex, obviously 2 weekends ago now, but Knights are just looking so good. They are looking so good. And I would expect nothing but for them to back it up here. And what a shock. A Thatcher ban, a Valkyrie ban, a Mirror ban. I'm in utter shock. Feel like they might be some of the most banned.
They definitely are, and they are good bans for this map. Like, I mean, you can't look past it. Mirror can be very troublesome to deal with on Chalet. It was the same on old Chalet, it's the same on current Chalet. And likewise with Valkyrie, she can be really helpful with extra info, obvious reasons. And Chalet just being a really big open map, I think it's tough to be able to find all those Valkyrie cameras without constantly picking IQ. So banning the Valkyrie gives you that flexibility.
I just got baited so hard. I saw the Monty being picked from Fisho, and I thought, hang on a second. Is this Elevate leaning into the Southeast Asian play style? No. Just get baited every day of the week. Ace, of course, was the 6th pick in that one. And Dino on the Frost, I would have to say, a very niche pick. But you can understand it on a map like this.
Totally. Frost actually quite good to play on Chalet, this new iteration of Chalet in particular. And when you're defending this top 4, hard holding the top 4 regardless, those Frost mats can just be a pain to deal with. So you're going to have to be thorough on your drones, check your windows. Just a really good pick. I love to see that from the Knights. In general, this lineup just feels really well rounded from them. Bringing that Wamai and Ye combo, we taled a bit about it in map number 1 tonight. It's just so helpful bringing Wamai to supplement Jaeger because of those ADS changes. It's going to make it harder to deal with gadgets because your projectiles are getting beaten up left, right, and center.
Yep. A lot of renovations, a lot of setups here for Knights on this first starting of the round. And you see, just going to work as that construction worker. So many different rotates for them to be able to play with. You reading anything into this, Raven? I mean, we're seeing quite a large volume of rotates.
Yeah, they just want to have a lot of freedom. Something that can happen on this top floor is you can get a little bit bogged down and make it tough to rotate. For example, if that castle barricading towards the piano there in master bedroom was to be taken out, you're completely isolated. You can't rotate through that middle hallway if Digital was to hold that angle. So to have it rotate into the closet and then into the bathroom does just create extra flexibility.
Well, they were talking about, you know, who's most prepared for this map, because I do feel like that is what it's going to come down to. Obviously, we could see who the potential better team is, but push comes to shove, it is going to come a lot into this. Larium now with Vast putting the attention in. Nice use. Sledge dismantling the barricade very early here with a minute 30 gone, and God Legion taking down Haywood. That's the pick after your Elevate. Start things out, make them a bit more uncomfortable.
Really liking this so far from Elevate. It's not the particular meta push that I've seen, at least on Chalet. Normally you would take Office and towards the lobby, and that is a great start from Elevator trade coming out. 4 versus 3. They have good map control here of Solarium. Worthy covering from the windows, and Digital cutting this rotate. So that means they essentially have that master control once they clear out bathroom. But there's the castle, it's juicy. He's holding on to that very important map control here in the closet.
And you feel like you might just be stuck, if not for the rotates that we were literally just highlighting earlier. They do have bedroom control now, although... See you later, God Legion! What a response from Fisho Guy. I don't think you can get more lucky with that. It looked like bullet holes was going to be the aim of the game there, and it turned into an opportunity. Worthy now in a 1 versus 2. Fisho is down. And he is going to have to claw this back. 20 seconds left, Raven.
Yeah, I was going to say, Fishing Guy's salvageable here. He's going to go for the revive, but Solarium Stairs is where the defender is, and that is going to be Josh that came up to finish that one off. The show ended by Dino in the end, and clawed back well from the Knights. I really thought that Elevate started that attack nicely, but the Knights, they held strong, and those rotates really enabled that for them, so great job.
A little bit fortunate with the pick there. Traded very promptly, though. Solarium take, from my eyes, my uneducated eyes, if you will, looked pretty good. I think there were a couple of moments there. Knights could have been completely shut down. Wonderful job to really retake it. I think Sage actually nearly pulled out a 2K on that swing into Solarium from the bathroom. Regardless, we do move on, and let's go to kitchen.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Just felt like maybe Elevate could have spared one player to be on bathroom window, and that would have flushed out the castle position, I believe it was GP, and that round could have been very different for Elevate, so almost great opening round for them. Not quite. Knights get away with it. Here they are. They're going to push forward in towards kitchen and dining. This bomb site again. This is the revamped chalet, so it's not kitchen trophy anymore as it was of old. It's kitchen dining. That means that defending the lobby is even more valuable, because that is where you can hard breach straight to site. Does put a bit of pressure. We'll see whether that's the decision that Elevate try to go for on this push. A couple of ways you can do it, but of course vertical is also a very important part of this bomb site.
I think reiterating that point is Knights right now. A lot of attention being thrown up there. It looked as though 3 or so players were going to be playing off the back of it. You got Sage and Dino. 2 players you really would not want to be walking into. I think Sage, I have to highlight his performance from last year. An unknown entity coming into the Oceanic National Stage 2 for the Australian New Zealand National League. He really turned some heads. Look at this flank. Well, I wouldn't say flank as much. This aggressive play on Solarium Stairs. Oh, that's what we're talking about.
That is a tight angle from Juicy and Digital off the board, and this is a great read from Knights early. It seems to be where Elevate want to enter. They just want to take Solarium no matter the site, and this is being repelled perfectly, and this is where it's tough. You can't just take map control straight from windows. You need to be able to push players out. And given that it is kitchen dining, there are going to be players hanging pretty close to trophies. As soon as you realize that they're trying to push Solarium, as we've seen, Juicy can just hold that angle and try and shut it down. So this is a good job from the Knights so far. That's definitely going to stall out Elevate, trying to take some map control. But Vast, he's coming in from below from this big garage.
Without throwing bodies at him, it is going to be incredibly hard to displace him all the way there between Trophy and Solarium. And as I do say that, it's Vast taking lead. Player that could really throw some curveballs at Elevate here. Juicy doesn't expect him so far up. And Vast just backs away for a hocking. Is that God Legion in sight right now, or is that... Oh my word, okay. That has just been absolutely sent in. They can now stop that from Sage. The flank. Is Sage going to be able to pick this up? My goodness, how does Vast win that? 50 seconds left, and Elevate are in the right stead.
They are. This has been really good early map control here from Godlin and Vast in particular at that opening, and Worthy holding this lobby rotate. Leaves it all up to Dino. He's in Solarium still, and the big boy is going to come down those stairs. Surely the sound call is going to be alerting Elevate as God Legion sticks this Plantmatic post-plant situation. 3v1 for Elevate.
OC4 to use. At the best of times, a 1v3 is going to be hard. If he can find that first hurdle, give himself an opportunity, some room to breathe. Here's the player coming from behind. He won't expect that. Little sneaky play from God Legion. Just a corner, tucked away, nestled by the wine bottles. And just like that, a round for Elevate. And a good way to kind of ensure that Knights don't get too far ahead of themselves here.
Really like that from Elevate. Once they got that entry in through Trophy, I believe it was God Legion, Vast actually initiated from the west main that diverted that attention so that God Legion could rotate straight through the kitchen. and that just gave them the site control they needed. That was where the Knights were caught off guard. The rest of their players were just off site, so it was really just about catching the picks as they came back. Beautifully executed from Elevate, and a great disciplined post plant. God Legion certainly could have peeked that kitchen door earlier, but he waited and waited. And even after Vast got picked,
Attackers
he
need
still
to
waited.
locate
It
and
was
defuse
really good
as many
experience there
bombs
from
as they
God
can.
Legion that pulled that through.
I mean, I know this sounds outrageous, but a cheeky little peek from God Legion could have ended up in a team kill or anything. You just never know. I know that's really stretching, and sometimes I just like to play the what if factors. But without a doubt, that is what Elevate will be needing for their confidence. That's what they'll be needing to start. A team that, in their own rights, have their characters,
Insertion.
have their joyful spirits, and
5 seconds remaining.
I really think there's something to this roster. Fisho, Milo coming across as well. I think we may be seeing a new era heading into 2021 for a lot of teams. And I think that's been proven by Seventh Heaven a little less than half an hour ago.
Swapping mags!
Very true. And, you know, just to quickly highlight, Fisher Guy in particular coming from the roster, very well known as a strong leader in the teams he's been in. You know, he was quite a mainstay on his old roster, went through many different iterations, but he has very strong leadership skills as well as shot calling. It's something that I know Elevate has spoken about a lot, is their indecision and just that leadership. They had Hot Shot previously last year, try and fill that gap, didn't quite work out. Now they've been able to pick up Fisher Guy, I think just the quality of a player that Fisher Guy is will just bring something else to Elevate. And I think it's just a matter of time. And Fast is on fire with these entries as the Ash player. Will get that first one onto Juicy. Quite the whiff from Juicy though. He had the jump, but didn't get the frag.
I would say that's twice that Vast has almost been given a second life for free. First, it was Sage on the staircase. Then it was Juicy on Library staircase. It literally is starting to form a pattern here. And by all means, an opening is an opening, but also momentum can swing incredibly heavy for someone like Vast. And it looks like it may just snowball into this round as well. Knights will have to step into this role, will have to step up to the challenge if they want to be able to convert a 5 versus 3.
They will. They've got strong players to clutch this out, though. Sage and Rhino in particular, known as quite sharp, smart players. Josh as well has been able to be very consistent for Knights in the past. So still wouldn't put it past them. Got a minute to play as well. Oh my gosh, that's Digital just face checking it straight to Josh, but it's worthy. He's found another pick onto Dino. This is getting progressively harder, and now all on the shoulders of Sage, mate.
Bomb has been located.
Progressively harder, impossible. I don't know, what's the difference here at the moment? Might be able to find himself a double, but the air jab! That almost saved 2 lives there. And 2 rounds on the board for Elevate on their attacking side. In what will be first time we've seen Chalet played in this kind of competition.
It is, yeah. As Guz mentioned on the desk, you know, we've seen it played in some of the other Asian region nationals. I think it was Japan Championships. We saw once or twice Chalet was played, but here we are in the main regionals, APAC South.
Yeah.
It's the first time we're going to see it played. Didn't take long, right? Second match of the night. And look, I love it so far. I think it's a great map. It's been a real back and forth. You know, Knights started off strong in that master bedroom defense, but Elevate have been putting some great attacks together.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Banshee ready to go.
They just have to keep it up. You know, it's it's one thing to start early, and Knights are definitely a team that have the legs to continue and to push back, stand up when they need to. Really enjoying this top 4 defense. At least the setup I'm enjoying from Knights. We've seen the previous round. We saw them convert it quite successfully in the end. Elevate still had their opportunities. You cannot discount that.
5 seconds to insertion.
But will we see Elevate go for a similar take? Solarium across. Will they change things up? maybe try to catch some of these Knights players off-site, unawares.
I think what's scary for Knights here is, while they did win this the first round, but it did come down to 2v2. On top of that, Elevate had a pretty successful start to the round. They took great map control in Solarium, and they put so much pressure in through Master. They just had a couple of loose ends they didn't tie up. So if Elevate do manage to read into that, and the Knights haven't quite adapted, it will be tough. But we've got two roamers off site here. It's the Melusi and the Jaeger. This Elevate, if they are going to take different map control from the south side, for instance, these roamers can certainly be more at play.
A much slower and quieter start to the round. Vast hasn't entered yet, so, you know, once he's entered the building, things will start to go bang. Once again, Digital was the first inside of the building itself. Solarium stairs still going to be held. I believe that is by Hayward. So they're not going to be able to contest from the windows as fruitfully as they were before. Oh, Hayward nearly catching a foot out there. I mean, just damage at this point, but every little bit helps.
Especially, looks like Elevator's sticking a very similar push to the last time. And if you stall this out, it's what we saw in the second round, I believe. You know, Digital was stuck on those windows. It's stalled out there. It's not a great position to be stalled. And it's just a lot easier for the defense to try and work around something to stop you from getting in or even work a pick. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see the adaptations that Elevate make to make this work better.
Okay, first smoke being used from Fisher, I assume. It's okay. That's good from Worthy. That's what we needed. The smoke has enabled Elevate to push into Solarium now. It's given them the cover that they needed to. Vast still hanging in and around the bedroom double window. Hayward and Sage come together for Knights. A moment of need. The heroes step up to the moment. And slowly but surely the dust settles. And you would have to calm before the storm.
It's good rotate from Worthy onto that bathroom window, but I can't help but feel it's a little too late in the round. The Knights just have good map control. The Fuser is down in Solarium over there. It's going to take a lot of work for Elevate to get back in, and that is just Elevate falling to pieces. Juicy pulls the final piece off of Elevate. That's the Knights getting around back to make it 2-2.
Lovely work from Knights. That looked really clean. There was a chance once Worthy had opened up the first kill that you may start to, you know, have that inkling of belief. Knights have done a really great job. That's just stamping their authority on that top floor defense. But that wasn't really the danger sign. That wasn't where we saw a lot of the cracks. Obviously, a 2 versus 2 in the first round doesn't bow very comfortably, but they still managed to make that work and keep 2 alive in the end. And now we're looking at a situation where they have to reattempt what was presumably their weaker bomb sites.
To locate and defuse bombs.
And maybe it was just Vast completely catching Knights unaware. Who knows? Only one way to find out. It all starts here. Prep phase now. As Knights will, at this point, just need to continue chipping away on this defense. Really curious to see what kind of play style Chalet is going to favour.
I think it was a great question that you kind of posed before, Manic, about Vast's early entry on this site and Elevate's successful attack. We didn't see it reattack straight away from Knights. They finally rotated back to it now in round number 5. But without that quick entry from Vast and that little read, really, how differently could the round have played out? Okay, that's something that we're probably going to see now. The Knights are a pretty good team at adapt. So if they cut that off and stop that early entry from Vast and Godly, it could play out really differently. It means that Elevate are going to either push roamers or really just work something different. They can't just rely on that little quick slide in to get them that site control.
Keep your eyes on how long it really takes them to initiate this response. Maybe either way. Maybe either way. That Would be a very detrimental kill in the grand scheme of things. Digital gone. It's not all of their soft potential breaching gone, but it's certainly a fair bit of it. Well, with Vast going down, that may well and truly be a huge, huge hindrance. And was that as he vaulted through the window? You hate to see it.
Definitely a rough start on the entry this time here for Elevate. Highlighted how well it worked out for them in round number 2, but not this time. Digital, in fact, was the opening death in round number 2, so it wasn't too different of a start, but really not giving them much here. Looks like it's going to be a heavy lobby push, and they're just going to start pushing straight to Dining. There are 2 players on this flank. Worthy, with a nice pick though, does potentially get that opening that Elevate need.
Located.
Worthy of everyone now. Maybe the player to give Elevate what they needed, which, you know, in this round very much had been lacking from Vast. Doesn't look like they can fully deny it. Dino just managing to catch out the toes. It took him a little while, nearly a full clip, and now they've pretty much got the choke necks into the site. God Legion stuck. Dino should be able to stop anything that walks through the choke point. That it does. Knights. That looked like a much, much better round.
It was, and you know, Elevate still almost found that opening. They got 3 players onto site in that mid-late round section. I was a bit worried Knights that plant might be confirmed. It really was beneficial that Dino got that first pick through the rafters. It was a great angle, and that kind of just destabilized the rest of the positions. Didn't really fall on top of it. But again, Elevate are just looming. They are looking for openings. They're finding them, but it was a good adaptation from the Knights with that vertical control. Hard to get past that. So here we go. Could be a 3-3 half, honestly, Manic. I would not at all be surprised.
Yep.
You know, Snow Wine in particular was the worst sight we saw from Knights. In fact, it was a flawless round in favor of Elevate last time.
So, Jackal being swapped out for the Ash adaptation from Elevate. Sick of dealing with those pesky little roamers. Certainly make it a lot easier in clearing that top 4, which Knights, especially in that round, you saw how useful it can be having vertical presence, not just on top, down below, pre-prepped holes, murder holes, whatever you want to call them. And
5 seconds to go.
a little bit more due diligence from Elevate in this round might just do them so good.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
New mag.
The change on entry ops here. Vast actually not going the Ash this time, going the Jack. But they've really identified that the Knights are just looking to run around. And it's something that has always been a thing with Chalet. I remember back in Chalet of old, sometimes dealing with the roam was quite painful. There were some angles that you could utilize on the attack to make it easier, but that's not the case on the rework. So roams can be quite strong. But I'm liking this from Elevate. The adaptation's good. They can help with this roam clear and even find opening picks. Great start, especially for a Snow Wine attack. And they'll get map control, they can put vertical on. It starts to snowball.
Pun intended.
Sure.
So, that's what we need from Vast. Nice early entry. Force back anyone looking for those style of flanks. Or just in particular roams, as we see it now. They are going to need to move back and move quite fast. Doesn't look as though anyone from Elevate will be too hotly contested on any roam or flank just yet. And I think you could, in part, say thank you very much for that Jackal being brought. Turtling on site now for Knights. All 5 members. Well, 4 with 1 deep in garage there. They're ready for whatever comes their way.
Well, it just depends whether Elevate at all get close to pushing that side. At this stage, it looks like they're really keen to just continue to push from lobby and down in towards Snowmobile. And, starting to hear some hard breach going off from Ace. Hopefully that is the Snowball Wall, and it is. So again, really good pressure from Elevate. And Gold Legion, he's finally found the opening. It's taken 2 minutes, But it's Juicy off the board, so this is again a good start from Elevate. And it was pretty structured attack right now from them.
It's what you love to see from Fisho, something that he's been so well known for. Are those swings, Vast with timing just doesn't make it work now. Caught in an angle. Digital taken down on the staircase. Perfectly done from Josh. Whips out the shotgun for the close call. Haywood doing the damage. And all of a sudden, Fisho, God Legion, eat your hearts out. 20 seconds left. I dare say, I do not believe in this occasion. A 4-2 half for Knights as we head to the second.
Really well played from Knights in the end. They never really abused the control they got, given that Snowmobile was open fairly late in the round. Control from Elevate, it just, there's not something they could capitalize on. So they will take a 2-4 half. You know, not bad. I don't think Shell has been played enough to be able to say whether this is really going to be one way or another in competitive. But I would be pretty happy if I'm Elevate getting those 2 attacks, and they challenged on the other attacks. It's not like the Knights, you know, were running over the top of them or outplaying them to an extreme level. So if I'm Elevate, like, I'd be feeling pretty good coming into this second half.
Yep. And, you know, they've got the room to move. I would dare say they'd be feeling decently confident. We got to pause just a moment as we get back into the second half. But I have to agree with you, and I'm always going to look at Knights and ask the question, what's in the back pocket? What have they got prepared? Because more often than not, it does feel like Knights have just that extra kind of advantage in any matchup that they play. And I think we've started to see that really shine through in the last, I would say, 4 months in particular, 3 months if you want to be precise, you know, taking down the likes of Wildcard, destroying Okami, and even Elevate in their previous matchups. So this is something where, yeah, sure, Elevate, they got the rounds on the board, they did what they needed to do, you know, they won the attacks that they needed to win, and they've given themselves, you know, at the very least, space to breathe. Now, they most definitely need to capitalize on that, advantage. And it starts in the first round of the second half. And it starts in the basement.
Really cheeky little 6-pick just then from the Maverick with Juicy. He's gone onto the Lion. So they're only going to have the ace for the hard breach. Just feeling like maybe they might go a quicker attack. I don't know whether it'll be a rush, but they're just going to be searching for an opening with that Lion, or they're going to use it for potentially roam clear. Wait and see, but I think that is a very juicy little 6-pick there from Juicy. What do you know? I'm really excited to see how this plays out for the Knights.
10 seconds to go.
And we saw it. Dev kind of phrased it as a not rush from 7th Heaven in the last round of Clubhouse in their previous matchup against Order. So maybe this could really be the undoing. And we all know how it can be for the mindset. So far, nothing's indicating an intensely fast move. And with how spread out and roam heavy Elevator attending the lean here with Vast coming up to support God Legion, could be a little bit tricky for them to, at the very least, just make that first approach into the site, into the map itself, and put pressure on these players.
Still no real pressure put on this roam. With the Elevate players off-site, Worthy going to be holding Library by himself. God Legion not too far behind in Piano. Constantly moving around. This is great from Elevate, wasting a lot of time here. God Legion now starting to feel some pressure. But that opening still being sought after.
I mean, this is a win in my book if you're Elevate. If you can continue to hold them back. Oh, hello. This might be nice. Is that Haywood there, I see? Right underneath. He's to ensure. No, it may not be. That's a big pick. Oh, make it to still completely unaware on the main stairs there. So Dino will find the kill and continue to progress. They've still got the vertical control here, Elevate, but what a response from Knights.
Yeah, really good response. They're going to push from the rear. Fisho is the one that's going to have to try and hold this in the wine cellar. He's got two players pressuring him. The other is looming around that bar. Looks like they're going to progress towards blue as Digital rotates away from that. Like he's going to play this 90 to support. But Josh, he's found Fisho. That's that wine cellar player. This is a really good recovery from Knights right now.
God Legion, the Vigil, the flank, the man, the myth, the legend may just come back in time to support this defense. Dino, he is going to stick it right now. Digital just looking to go for that jiggle peak in a post-plant situation. Knights are going to have to hit their shots here. Josh progresses a little bit closer. God Legion, he's on the flank. Definitely cannot win that one out. Digital making the big plays. Dino, he's all left with it to do. He knows directly where both players are, but Digital will dismiss him, put him down. That's the third round that Elevate will need, and the first of this half, a crucial one at that.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
Ended up being a pretty well-executed roam from Elevate. It really stalled out the Knights. They didn't find the openings they wanted, and then there was the 2K opening that Elevate got around that mid-round stage. Always going to be tough to bring back, but the Knights really did start to claw it back. Got great openings in towards Wine Cellar, and look, they got in, they got the plant down, but the positioning and the play from Digital and God Legion close that out was fantastic, and that just brings them one round closer, only one round away from the Knights lead.
In touching distance. Don't have enough information on Chalet right now in terms of comp to make any firm assumptions. The Knights back would be up against the wall. 4-2. That first half was.
Defenders,
Starting
protect
to
your bombs
believe
from
that
being
Elevate
defused by attackers.
may just find a very early win. A nice early 3-point on board here if they can continue on the back of what they've just shown us here. It's ambitious. It's early to call. But nevertheless, Knights, they've always got something ready. There's always something more that they've got.
So far from Elevate, I think something that's standing out for me is
10 seconds to go.
one of their more high-profile players for the longest of times has been God Legion. And for the majority of 2020, honestly, he struggled. And
Attackers
you
are
could
moving
say,
out to locate a bomb.
can't put it all on one player, but I feel like it's a really good indicator of where the team is at. When God Legion is struggling, there are clearly some issues that are just not enabling them to play to their full effectiveness. And right now, he started great in Apex South. He's currently the kill leader for Elevate. And he was really important in that previous round, bringing that back for Elevate on that flank and just the general roam. So if that's a sign of anything, you know, this could be a really positive move that Elevate have made with Fisher Guy. Again, bringing some comfort to God Legion, being able to get back to, you know, his strong self fragging out.
When you allow players to naturally perform as they wish, some crazy things can happen. Yeah, 1D nice and early here. Knights sticking the lion pick. In reference to the Nomad. Oh, wowzers.
I've cast the curse him. I've done it, Manic.
You really have. You have put him into the ground as well. Juicy absolutely ripped that head off. And Elevate are going to have to do it not just with the man down, but with the man down.
See whether they do bounce back, but really good early push here from the Knights, taking some great top floor map control, putting pressure straight on towards site. This is Hayward. He's playing this balcony, which is what we didn't see much from Elevate. You know, they did not play that much from this piano window or bathroom window. It felt like that was really what was not rounding out their attack that well. There's something that the Knights are doing, and they've got control of lobby. They're opening this off this wall. This is a great attack right now.
So really deep line going to be held from Dino. And Fisho Guy realistically doesn't have a lot of room to move in there. But oh, that's ambitious. Juicy just not going to be able to catch player from that vertical line. Still needs to be cautious. Default cam left up and information given. 50 seconds left. Vast, fortunate to be alive there. My goodness, these EE1Ds are unrelenting, and Fisher has been injured. The diffuser's going down and Knights collapse. My word, nothing. Silence here for Elevate. Digital, you can try you may. What an impressive round that we've seen.
Flawless, in fact, from the Knights. And look, I just think they really executed that attack so well. Just the small changes to the attack from Elevate. I mean, one, Elevate was so keen to take Solarium's side, but it just makes a lot of sense, right, to take Library off the side. You know, you take the Library control, you've got top of lobby, you've got your flanks covered, you can start to open office wall, and then it's really hard as a defender to try and hold that off. And on top of that, the Knights did rotate somebody to that top piano window or the bathroom window, and we saw at least 2 picks come from that direction. Really key differences between the two teams, and it's allowed the Knights to get a flawless attack on Master Office.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
And right on the back of what we were saying, really hyping up Elevate. That is the response that we expect from Knights. It's what I've been saying this entire time. Just what's in their pocket? What do they have prepared? What do they have that could really throw a spanner in the works of any progression that Elevate make, any room that they give themselves to breathe? And we know how essential this top 4 defense, this top 4 presence is for this site. And Elevate reiterating that right now.
Now, one key difference I'm also seeing between the two teams is the scoreboard. It's a very good effort from the Knights, I have to say. Most of them 7 and 6 kills between them. Pretty even deaths. It's very different on the side of Elevate. You have a few players up there on 7, a couple players down there on 3 kills. It's just not quite the same team effort that we see from Elevate. That's not to say that their teamwork is off and just be their system, but something that's great about the Knights is they are a well-rounded team. They really all pitch in on the scoreboard, and they're just a very tight-knit group at this stage because they've been playing together for quite a while now with this lineup.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference between the two teams, and it's really why I felt like the Knights were going to come out on top of this matchup, because they've had that chance to really gel together. And Elevate, they've only had roster for about weeks with this addition of Fisher back.
Good point there, Rooney, once again. Being brought on map number 2. That's good to see. Diverse range. I am really enjoying this pick from Juicy on the line. It's working to great effect for Knights, and it's causing a lot of chaos, a lot of discomfort here for Elevate. You know, Vast in that previous round went down so early. That's actually something to note as well. Swapped out onto the Wamai from Vigil. So a vast difference. Oh god, I hate it when I do that.
Something about it on Elevate is it's so easy to say puns accidentally, but they're under pressure here right now. Vast at the top of this library. He's trying to hold, but players in library push deep. That is Juicy, the Lion. It's found a great entry for the Knights now, and again, these attacks are looking really good for them. Giving themselves just over a minute now with some good vertical pressure on the side, and Juicy is just going to keep rolling as he takes that Digital Sage, answers with a frag. All looking great for Knights.
They are looking so damn clean. Every single step they've made on this second half from that second round onward has looked nasty. Worthy is in no man's land, and Knights control sight, they control vertical, they control horizontal, they control the damn map. And now, Worthy, I mean, I believe crazy things, but
not that.
Not that, man. Not that. A 1v5. I mean, a bit of style points to go along with it. Knights are absolutely dominating these last 2 rounds, Raven.
Yeah, 2 flawlesses in a row. I mean, that's a great point. Dominating is exactly right. Elevate haven't found a kill for 2 rounds, besides that Snow White defense. there has just been no answer. And it feels like all of a sudden the Knights have just clicked. They're just like, all right, Elevate, we know what you're trying to do. We've got this now. And those last 2 rounds were just uncounterable from the side of Elevate. So they're going back to Snow Wine. They did win it, and it was a good roam. But just with the adaptability we're seeing from the Knights right now, I just feel like they're going to figure out that counter. So we need to see something different from Elevate.
Defenders protect
In that
your
case,
bombs
look,
from being
I'm
defused
just
by
going to
attackers.
spitball here. Vast being so isolated from the rest of his team. There's no one that was even in trading distance. No support from vertical, regardless of whether it's bottom up or top down. There was no support that could really come in for Vast, and it just felt like a cheap death. Maybe that's just my uneducated mind, but certainly when Knights have consistently brought the Lion and now making their own adaptation onto the Jackal, it is really making a lot of what Elevate may have lent into so difficult and uncomfortable to really achieve.
Drop the bomb diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
All right, Elevate, time to find some answers here. We've got 3 rounds to make it up. The Knights, as we were talking about in the first match, the overtime difference coming into the 2021 season, these Knights have secured themselves points. You know, if they manage to lose it from here, they've secured themselves 1 point at the minimum. And Elevate, I guess, going to be fighting to do the same. You know, get to overtime, they can at least get points on the board. Every point, no doubt, will matter in this regular season. But Elevate have 3 rounds consecutively ahead of them. They have to get 3 perfect rounds, and that's on the back of the Knights' 2 perfect rounds on their attack.
Well, I mean, devil's advocate, Elevate just have to get rounds, and that's not the way to do it, perfect or not. It can be as scrappy or as chaotic as they need it to be, but smack bang on the money. God Legion is ripped away so quickly, and I just don't. I don't think I have the belief. Worthy Fallen Hell has just made things all that much harder. This is insanely good and a great response from the Knights.
Attackers drop.
And look, it is going to be tough, but Fisho and Didge combine for 2, so that does bring it back to be a 3v3 as Vast is now made its way back to the site. He's been able to get past that player at the snowmobile. It was Juicy. He's getting out of there. He's not going to open that or do any other additional work to the wall as the Maverick. And Vast is on the move here, Manic. They need to make something happen.
I mean, if that diffuser's down in their hands, they may be able to kind of rally around the point of Digital. We saw that he picked up that kill off screen before. Is it in a retrievable place for Knights? Is it uncomfortable for them to try and work toward it? Looks like it's going to be. And that's exactly what Digital is going to play into. Just needing to be careful here. Haywood trying to pressure the site, but Fisho guy is holding and waiting with timing there. Juicy now has to try to reclaim the ground that's been lost. Vast actually gives it up for free. Happy for Juicy to try and poke and prod around the corner. And this is the patience that we need to see from in these moments. Just taking the time to breathe, taking the time to transfer that pressure back onto Juicy.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Just incredibly well played from Vast right now, but Juicy can have this opportunity to take a 1v1 on site. I'm going to try and push through. Fisho not playing close at least. And this is where it's going to have to be even more important on Fisho. If he was to lose this fight to Juicy, it's going to be tough for Vast. Time to find out what happens. 10 seconds, Manic.
Oh, I love this from Fisho so much. Just stay alive. That's all you need to do in this situation. You do not need to face Juicy. It's exactly what he's done. Really well played from Elevate there to claw back around, seem to be snowballing out of control. And that, for me, starts with Digital. The call, the double down, and the isolation. It gives Elevate everything. Really well played.
Incredibly well played. I mean, I think it was you that said it, Manic. You felt like after they lost the first 2 picks that it was not going to be able to be salvaged at all. But they just did a fantastic job on site there. And worked together to get those picks to bring it back. Beautifully played, but 2 more rounds ahead of them. They've now won Snow Wine twice. They're yet to win the other sites. So this is really where it comes down to it. Bar Gaming was a flawless against them last time.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. And I think it's just as simple as this. Juicy, absolutely
Attackers
mental
need to locate and
online.
defuse as many bombs as they
Now
can.
goes back to a familiar face, reprising the role that caused Elevate so much trouble. Keeping my eyes on what Elevate do to change this. I believe they brought the Echo. I don't believe they brought the Mozzie in the previous round either. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I do like this.
Yeah, no Mozzie or Echo, who's the what? Because this works out, doesn't mean they're completing that Mozzie combo as well, so
10 seconds left
they will be
before
able to really deny info, something that the Knights are heavy on.
5
They
seconds
love
left.
their drones, incredibly good team at droning, so denying them that I think will be very helpful for holding this top 4. This is where it fell apart last time. The Knights really gained this top 4 control relatively quickly. It was off the back of Juicy getting a 2K's Lion entering through Library. If they could hold this vertical more, Elevate, give themselves a better chance.
Curious to see how they combine with the player just above Fireplace and also a secondary member for Elevate on Library Stairs. Didn't connect as well as what we had hoped for last round, but for obvious reasons, when you have someone out on the balcony just kind of shutting down any rotation into Library, it can make it really difficult. It can make it uncomfortable. But this time, Elevate cannot lose a player early. They cannot allow that same fault. And Juicy is popping off right now. 11 kills, Raven.
He is having a very good game right now, and I feel like, in particular, the second half, they've stepped up, playing prolifically on this Lion. The Gadget being helpful. Dino, though, he's got the opening for this one. That's fast. You're going to say, see you later. He gets the second on Fisho. Knights, again, putting themselves in such a great position. And again, God Legion, he's going to have to go up this top 4, and still half the round to go. The Knights just fantastic. It gets up.
Bomb located by attackers.
It's something that is going to pay dividends. Digital offsite, holding somewhat of a a crossfire. Not really a crossfire, more so a difficult angle for Knight to try and push past. In comes the E1 deep. Juicy makes his way into the site. Perfect use, and that is going to be the diffuser going down. Worthy has to hit this now, and it does not connect. This is going to be near impossible. He'll find a free kill. Knows there's a player vertical, but it's all falling apart here for Elevate. 2 players left. Knights are slowly and surely dismantling them. God Legion left with it all to do. A 1v3 tries to take the aggressive fight. Sage sits back perfectly, and that is the Knights taking their first map of APAC South.
Honestly, just so well played from Knights in the end. They really showed their strength when they rotated onto attack. They just had Elt's number and pulled it off. Juicy, big game from him. You highlighted it coming into that last round. He was already on kills. Ended on the 11, pairing with Dino, but again, just so tight the way that they attacked, and they were getting the map control needed when they needed it in that first half of the round.
Dino felt like the secret warrior, honestly. Did not expect to see